Hello and welcome to my video. Thanks for watching. I'm in command and this is my airlock tutorial. Here are all the components that you need for the airlock tutorial. It's two 3x3 doors, an ABBA switch and a water dispenser. Dispensers with water buckets in them. So I'll just briefly go through all of these different components and how they work, although I won't be able to tell you exactly how the 3x3 doors work. I'm more of a command guy than a redstone guy. These are designs that I've found online. I'll give the creator credit, the one that I used. I can't remember who he is now, but I'll put it in the comments. This is the space, two 3x3, 3x9 spaces separated by a 5-block space. I didn't actually record the audio when I was doing this. I was speaking throughout, so what I say may not match what's on screen. But this is my first real video, so as I make more, I'm sure I'll get better at this. So yeah, a 3x3 door here in one direction. It uses dispensers, observers, sticky pistons, and obviously redstone. It does use this T flip-flop here, a dropper T flip-flop, to take a pulse and make it into a consistent signal. Is that the right way to phrase it? And again, there's two of them here, and they're opposites to each other. So one built in one direction, the other built in the other direction. And when you build the airlock itself, they'll be facing each other, so that you can essentially create a chamber for your airlock, a bridge. It again, I don't fully understand how they work, but they work really well, and there's plenty of them online. So when you do build them, you'll build it in this space. You'll face this one direction and build it, and then you'll turn and you'll face the other direction and build it, and you'll naturally get that 180-degree flip of each of the builds. And the T flip-flop will be in the right location, because you want the T flip-flops in the center, in the middle, rather than the outside. Although they would work on the outside, I think it's probably just a bit easier to make sure that the power for each door are centrally located. And over here, I go through the ABBA switch. An ABBA switch is a way to create a circuit that creates a sequence in which things are powered. The power flows around in a circle. It goes into here, straight to that first one. There's a delay here, and then goes to the second one, and then again a delay to the third one. So you get a sequence that they're powered on. 1, 2, 3, as you'll see here. If I flip the switch, there you go, 1, 2, 3. So it goes around, and then because these repeaters are facing the other direction, it delays the signal going back down. So when you switch it off, you get the opposite sequence. So 1, 2, 3 going when it's switched on, and when you switch it off, they turn off 3, 2, 1. So that is an ABBA switch. Generally speaking, I think an ABBA switch is two items: A, B, B, A. So A first, B second, then B first, and A second. But we'll add an extra component here because we need it for doors, water dispensing, and door. And over here we've got a piston added into the mix. What you might have noticed from the previous one is that when you switch it off and the sequence goes 3, 2, 1, there's a slight delay in 3 going down first. That's because the power takes time to is delayed by these first 2 repeaters. So you switch it on 1, 2, 3, and then when you switch it off again, here, because this cuts the power immediately from the third piston, you get an immediate 3, 2, 1. So if you look here, you get 1, 2, 3, but when you switch it off, delay 3, 2, 1. And this piston solves that problem. You get immediate 3, 2, 1. So 1, 2, 3 going up, 1, 2, 3. Piston cuts the power, then immediate 3, 2, 1. So the last thing you want in your airlock is to be waiting for the first door to close. You want the same behaviour in each end. And over here, it will show you how we power each of the doors. So that powers the third door, The middle one powers the water dispenser, the first one powers the first door. And that's always the sequence we want, either 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1. The water dispenser always in the middle at number 2. And as you can see, I've added some more repeaters to give it even more delay. So 1, 2, 3. We've also got that piston that cuts the power early, so that you get your instant 3, 2, 1. So I must be talking about, delaying the power here, so that you can get the right behaviour. An airlock naturally takes time. You don't want it really instant. So you'll see in the next one, I increased the piston, the repeaters even more, and I'm showing you how we get the power from the target block to power this particular ABBA switch. So it's just a copper bulb on the back with a comparator coming out the copper bulb. So once you hit that target block, it flips the copper bulb, which gives it a consistent signal, redstone signal, keeping the power on. And then when you throw the trident again, it turns it all off, and then you get that 3, 2, 1. So that this is powered on. 1, 2, 3. Everything's working, and then we turn it off again, and we get the reverse sequence: 3, 2, 1. So that's more like the timing of an airlock there. I've got 5 in each bank of repeaters, all on 4-tick delay. So again, we've got door closed, water dispensed, and door open. And then obviously on the reverse side, when you're coming out, we want the opposite. So that door will always be open now on at number 3. And then when we power it off again, as we'll show you now, I believe, is that what I do? I think I do. And there we go. So you're back in, the door closes, the water undispenses, for want of a better word, and then door opens. Exactly how an airlock would work. And over here I show you how the water dispensing works. This is probably the simplest part. It is just, I think, 17 water dispensers, all powered with redstone, hard powering some of them because you soft power the others that are next to it. And yeah, I've put a button on the side just to show you the dispensing. I think I must be talking about hard powering and soft powering here. But yeah, I will push the button soon, I'm sure, to show water dispensing. I'm pretty sure you've all seen this anyway. This isn't rocket science. I must be talking about how this has to be number 2 in the sequence. Always must be number 2. So when you wire it in, you make sure that happens. And here we go. Water dispensing. So when it gets powered by number 2, either coming in or going out, it'll either undispense or redispense. I don't know why I need to labour the point. I'm clearly talking about how number 2 always does that. And then again, another little test there to show that you're undispensing it. So yeah, water dispensers and water buckets, in all of them. Again, showing you how that works. So all of these components together creates an airlock. So as I said, you'll need 2 9x3 spaces separated by a 5-block space. And this is exactly what you'll need to get the build done, but it won't include the space you need for the ABBA switch. You'll need to ensure that you make the space available for that. It doesn't all have to be in a straight line. You can do it vertically, however you want to do it. But let's get going. So you need to be standing in the middle of the 2 9x3 spaces, and then you'll get out a temporary block and you'll place it right in the center of one of those 9x3 spaces. On top of that, we'll put 2 sticky pistons, then decoration blocks on top with 1 on each side. We need a temporary block here, and then 3 vertical decoration blocks, and then we'll need to put 1 temporary block on top. Decoration blocks again coming out to the side, another temporary block here, and then 3 decoration blocks going up, creating our doorway. We'll get rid of these temporary blocks, and then we'll need to get our temporary blocks out again so that we can create space for the sticky pistons. Get rid of that one, and then place 2 sticky pistons here. Get rid of those temporary blocks, and we'll do exactly the same on the other side. Place our temporary blocks here to create space for those sticky pistons. Get rid of that one there, and then place 2 more sticky pistons and get rid of those temporary blocks. We'll do the same on top. We'll build up 2 and then 2 more to the side and get rid of the one below, and then we'll get out our sticky pistons and place 3 sticky pistons like so and get rid of those temporary blocks. I realised I've kept the temporary block at the bottom, so let's go and get rid of that now. And I can also see that I've missed a sticky piston, so let's place a temporary block right here and then a sticky piston right here. Get rid of that temporary block. From there, I need to get out the building block, put 1 here on this piston and then 2 more going up like so. We'll get out the redstone dust as well, and we'll place it all the way over, all the way up, I'll miss that one, and all the way down those building blocks. After this, we're going to need our glass block. We need to place a glass block here and here with redstone dust on top. Next, we'll get out our building block, and in 3 blocks from to the right, we'll place a building block there with a repeater on top on 4 ticks. We'll get around the other side of that repeater and place a building block right there with a redstone torch on top, and then another building block with another redstone torch. Go around the other side of the building block and we'll place another redstone torch. From there, we'll need to put a dropper right here on the repeater and an observer like so. We'll also need to dig down 2 to give us space to place a observer there, and then I like to fill back in the hole just like so. We'll need a repeater on top of the observer, again on 4 ticks, with a piece of redstone dust on top of the dropper like so. We need a building block right here with a sticky piston, and then a redstone block will go right there, and we'll need redstone dust right here. From there, 1 space over, we'll need a building block and 2 observers like so and so. From there, we need a comparator on top of the second observer, and then we'll need a dropper facing up, and then we'll need another dropper facing into that dropper. On top of this comparator, we'll need an observer, and then another observer just there like so, and then we need a repeater on here, again on 4 tick delay. Right here we need an observer like so, and then a building block right there. We also need to put 1 item into the dropper. It can be anything. I've just gone for a redstone torch. From there, you need to get out a sticky piston and put it on that top sticky piston there, followed by a redstone block. We'll need to get out our temporary blocks and place 2 temporary blocks like so, with a dropper facing up. And then we can get rid of those temporary blocks. We then need a hopper, which we'll place into that dropper, and then another dropper on top of this dropper, just like so. We'll also need a comparator facing into that sticky piston. Then we get out our building blocks and place 2 with a repeater on top facing into the dropper. And then we'll need a piece of redstone dust just after it, like so. And just so that we can test the contraption, we'll put that button right there. We also need to place an item into the dropper. This is a T flip-flop, and as you can see, it is working perfectly. What I have noticed though is that I didn't place a glass block here. As you will see from the video at the beginning of the video, I have a glass block right in the center of the door. So there we have it. We have our door working perfectly. Now we just need to repeat this exactly the same on the other. There's no point in me going over it all over again, so you will see it's sped up now. But here's our door all completed. We just need a complete 180 flip of that door over here. So I'll see you on the other side of this build. So we're just getting to the end now of the second build for the door. You'll see that I'm placing these building blocks on exactly the same side as I would have on the other one. You can have these on either side, so it depends on where your switch is as to which side these would be on. And again, putting buttons in more sensible places so that I can test the doors. I think I forget to put an item in the dropper. So yeah, I'm just doing that now so that I can test the door. I think you actually see the door close straight away once I put that in. Yep, and then test it, and it's working perfectly. So the next part of this build will be bridging these two doors together. Essentially what that means is building the floor and the walls to connect them. But we'll only do the floor and the walls because we need the dispensers in the roof. And I'm using smooth quartz here. You can use anything for decoration. It doesn't really matter. You might consider using copper perhaps, so that it's got that kind of weathered, rusty look. But I'm just using smooth quartz in this particular build. And then I will place the dispensers shortly. What you will notice is that I leave each of the corners blank, and then I place smooth quartz in there. I'm just checking here that I've got one door open and one closed. That'll be very, very important for this build. So yeah, you'll see that I'm placing these dispensers, and I will leave the corners free, and then I'll fill those with smooth quartz. When you're underwater, it will be dark, so you'll need a light source, so sea lamps or frog lamps, whatever your choice will be. I'll then place buckets of water in each and every single one of them, and then I'll wire it in with redstone dust. And if you know anything about hard power and soft power, dispensers can be hard powered, so it will soft power any dispensers next to it. So you'll see here that I put one line there, I miss one, and another line there, so that makes it a little bit cheaper to build. Next I'm going to do the switch, so I'll make a hole right in the center with a target block, and then a copper bulb, which is a T flip-flop, and then we need blocks underneath so I can place a comparator and a repeater. Don't necessarily need the repeater, it depends on how far away you're going to be placing your ABBA switch. I'll next, after this, need to build a step down to the floor to connect it to the ABBA switch so that you can activate and deactivate the ABBA switch. If you don't know what an ABBA switch is, look it up online. It's essentially a switch that makes things happen in sequence. So we need a sequence here: one door, water, second door, and then we need to that sequence to go in reverse. Second door, water, first door. So this is how you build an ABBA switch. You'll have repeaters. The more you have, the longer it takes. So I'm using 5 in each block here on 4 tick delays. Then you need a space, and again another 5. I forget that I only need 2, and I build a third here, which I'll speed up. And then you need the repeaters coming down the other way to face the opposite direction. So as I said, we only need 2 blocks of 5. So once I've done this, I will go back and I will get rid of the others. But we do need another repeater here, one here, and one here. They'll go into sticky pistons. So let's get rid of those, and we'll wire in some redstone dust. Next, we do need to pull that redstone dust out 2 blocks, and then place it all the way along the length, and place a sticky piston down at the end. The sticky piston just it deactivates the power faster, so door 2 can activate immediately rather than there being a delay. Here I'm just counting redstone dust, so I know where to place a repeater to ensure the signal goes to the sticky piston without any problems. I'll then place another sticky piston here by this redstone dust, and then another one here, and a third one here. And on top of each of those, I will need a building block here, here, and here. Next, I will need an observer, so I'll place some more building blocks behind to allow me to place those down easily. I'll get those observers out, and there's 1, 2, and 3. I then need to start wiring it into the door switches. This first one here will be for our first door right there, so I will connect that one to that one. This will connected to the water dispensers, and this will get connected to the second door. So as I said at the beginning of the video, it takes up quite a lot of space, 15 to 20 blocks plus. If anybody knows of a better way to achieve this type of ABBA switch, I'd be keen to know. If I can make it more compact, that would be excellent. But yeah, we'll get our first door wired in with the redstone dust to that observer. And as soon as the switch happens, the observer sees the block from the sticky piston, which activates this particular door. And again, I'm counting redstone dust here to ensure that I get a consistent signal. I'll do the same for the dispensers. Start building this up to the dispensers there. So the first one will go up. So if you don't know how an ABBA switch works, it delays the signal to each one of the pistons. So the first piston goes up first, activating the first door. The second piston obviously goes up second, activating the water dispenser. And the third piston goes up third, activating the second door. So you get that sequence. And then the power stays on until we power it again, or depower it, I guess. And then it does exactly the same sequence, but in reverse, meaning that the second door opens or closes, whichever one it is. The water then dispenses or undispenses, whatever the word is, and then the first door again opens or closes. So we now got the water dispensers powered in, and then lastly the second door. This is me checking again that I've got one door open and one door closed. Very important. You don't want to wire it in the other way, otherwise you'll have to come back and redo it. So yeah, we'll get this all wired in, and then we'll be able to test it and show you that it works. One thing that I didn't consider when I was building it above ground is that water, if it goes on redstone dust, as you probably know, will break all your redstone dust. So once I've done all of this, I have to build a bit of protection around the entrances, or the entrance and the exit, to ensure that I don't drown some of the components. And I mess up here as well. So quick fix. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not very good on a keyboard. I played Minecraft with a PlayStation 5, and playing on the keyboard is foreign to me. So I'm kind of all over the place, really. So soon this will be done. I'll do a bit more counting for the repeaters too, to make sure that we've got power in. And look, more mistakes there. Got the redstone dust all over the floor. And here we go. So we're getting close to the test stage. Here I go counting. Let's get a repeater right there. We don't want it to break. Make sure that everything gets power it needs to. And again, counting here. One there. And probably, yeah, definitely another one further up. If you don't know, redstone power will degrade until you get to the 15th block, at which point there will be no power after it. So you use a repeater to make sure that power continues on. And there we go, the build is done. So next stage is to build the protection, basically build a wall to stop the water flowing out, and do the same on the other side. And then we're ready to test. So I'll get the trident out. We'll go in, we'll throw that at the target block, and we'll see the door close, the water dispense, and the other door open. And there you go, that timing's pretty good. You could have it a bit faster if you wanted to, so reduce the amount of repeaters in the ABBA switch. Or you could have it a bit slower and increase the number of repeaters in the ABBA switch. Let's show you it happening again. You throw that there, door closes, water recedes, and the door opens. And there you have a working airlock, which you can place in any underwater base and decorate it in whatever way works for your particular build. And the door closes, and the water comes down, and the door opens. So that's my build. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share, comment, and yeah, I'm keen to see what you guys think. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.